All right, Derbyites, we're going to discuss movie, mini, directing. It's an interesting race. The odds are kind of all over the place for most of these. I'm Amanda Spears. I'm joined by Tony Ruiz, Riley Chow, Charles Bright, and Zach Laws. So we tried this before, but the video went out. So if some of us seem more rehearsed than normal, that's why. But Charles, since you weren't here, I'm going to give you the same deal I gave Zach, which is you can have 5 minutes. Go ahead, make your case, but I will cut you off at 5 minutes.
I will yield my time when I am ready.
No, you will not.
Okay, Rand Paul.
Okay, Maxine Waters.
I don't know who I am in this, but
so I did have Twin Peaks in there. David Lynch for Twin Peaks and my number one. Before our chats today, because we're doing a series of them, I did switch to Jesus Christ Superstar. I just think that the addition of the live, what's the word I'm looking for? Aspect of it is going to be a very intriguing thing. It's going to be something that they're going to want to latch on to. And I think also that, we've seen these specials win, although last time it was in Variety when we saw Grease win. So I think it's very possible that we could see this win. But I am very wary of David Lynch in this category for several reasons. One is that there are 7 nominees in this category. And obviously, the director's branch really like Twin Peaks. And I'm betting there's a good number of them that if it was a ranked ballot for the nominations, that Twin Peaks would have been number 1 for them. And the fact that it didn't get into series and neither, Kyle MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Naomi Watts didn't get nominated in the acting categories, there could be like maybe not an organized effort, but this sort of mind think with the directors going, you know what, we really like David Lynch. He never won for the original. And this was a real directorial achievement. I think I'm going to vote for him here. And because there's 7 nominees, you only need 12 to 14% of the vote to win, potentially. And this category seems uniquely qualified for a Twin Peaks upset. And I am not just saying that because I am a huge fan, but I genuinely think that there could be the groundwork for this. And directing contenders have won without a corresponding limited series or movie before, although the last time was in the 90s.
Actually, Riley, you know that stat from our last chat, so go ahead and drop it for us.
I think it was 93, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, I have the list over on my.
It's either 93 or 94, but I thought he might have that one ready. I thought he might have that one ready, but okay, Zach, go ahead.
It was John Frankenheimer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another movie starring Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, I'm sticking with the David Lynch.
I'm still shocked that Charles did this in under 5 minutes, but go ahead, Zach.
Yes, it was Against the Wall in 1994.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach, go ahead and finish up the Twin Peaks argument.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm sticking with it because sometimes you just got to go with your heart on these things. And, I think that if you're a director, not to besmirch the other people in this category who all did very fine work in their own ways. But, when you look at somebody like David Lynch, not just directing 18 hours worth of television and 18 really ambitious hours with hundreds of actors and different locations and
somewhat of a story.
Yeah, somewhat of a story.
That's probably why I won one writing. But
also, to take something that is unless you're a diehard David Lynch fan like myself, Twin Peaks is probably the thing that he's best known for. And so there was a lot of expectation for this. Not only did he just kind of say, fuck it, and go off on his own, but in a lot of ways, he really kind of, exceeded what he had done in the original, and it is so much his vision and so unlike anything that has ever been on television and probably ever will be on television since it, that I just don't see how you don't recognize the achievement of that. Now,
and to add, oh no, I'm sorry.
You go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was also thinking, I believe before this project was confirmed, David Lynch had pretty much said that he was done making movies. He was focusing more on his Transcendental Meditation Center and more like his actual art and music. So it was when they actually got this had to be sort of a joy for some of these directors of the British to go, oh, David Lynch is going to make something again. Yeah. And I'm thinking for a lot of the directors, they probably enjoyed it.
This is the first thing he's directed since Inland Empire back in 2006, like the first kind of feature, not the shorts that he's made, not counting those, but this is the first major achievement that he's had in over a decade, and it just reconfirms the fact that he is one of our most important filmmakers. He's a true artist, and it just moves me so much to think about. I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious here, but it truly moves me.
Maybe it'll encourage him to make more movies and TV series as he did. And so, Riley, you're the voice of reason. Set the fanboy straight.
Well, before nominations, I had David Lynch in first for all those reasons that Zach and Charlie were saying about how it is this big directorial vision. And what concerned me about the nominations was not that it was snubbed in, certain major categories like, lead actors, supporting actors, but specifically that it missed in casting and it missed in series, because the director's branch, they can vote in for 3 achievements, and that's casting, directing, and just the general program fields. So that it only got into one of them is concerning. It doesn't mean that it can't win, because we have seen people, come from 7th place in the nominations to a win in the next round, because you only need that passion. But yeah, I'm a little hesitant to predict it. The obvious choice is Ryan Murphy for The Assassination of Gianni Versace, because that is our limited series frontrunner, and that often goes hand in hand with a directing win. But this is his 5th consecutive nomination. He's been nominated the last 5 years now, and he never wins, and he's never won at the Directors Guild either. The only time that he's won an Emmy for directing was for the pilot of Glee, and that was under the tape system. So there does seem to be something that the directors branch has against Ryan Murphy. Maybe they're jealous of him, maybe they don't take him seriously enough or something, but it's...
Well, I did some research on some other Emmy favorites who've done a lot of series that have won, David E. Kelley and Aaron Sorkin. And to your point with Aaron Sorkin, the last time he won an individual Emmy was for I think it was the first season of West Wing, excuse me. I've got it in my head, for the episode in Excelsior Deo.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then for David E. Kelley, Emmy winner, he's won a ton of Emmys individually without, you start looking at it, his last, he might not have ever won individually. Hold on, sorry. I can't.
He won a couple of writing awards for LA Law.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at it. Yeah, LA Law. Yeah, his last one was in 1991 for LA Law. So I think, Ryan Murphy, to your point, Riley, kind of fits into that. I know they're writing, but he's writing and directing. He kind of fits into that same thing where they're just kind of jealous of him, and they're just not going to award him. And it's a shame, because he deserves it. He did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can make a great case in this category for Jesus Christ Superstar, because it is the apple in the bag of oranges. And like Charlie said, in the variety directing category, that's not something that they normally awarded back under the tape system. They would go with, the live Oscars or Kennedy Center honors or whatever. But under the new system, it is something that they like. I'm actually going for Godless, because it's the most cinematic of the nominees, and it feels kind of like one of those Night Manager kind of deals where it got a bunch of nominations, and it was, the most cinematic, to put it simply. And I'm really going to be looking to the creative arts, seeing where, for example, in the editing category, we've got Triple Versace versus Black Mirror versus Twin Peaks. So if there is some kind of passion for Twin Peaks, that should be a very obvious place where it can manifest. And then also with Godless, does it miraculously lose cinematography? Maybe that'll make me rethink my prediction of Scott Frank.
And Riley and I continue our... Oops, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know I'm going to filibuster before Tony gets to talk, but I just
Oh, poor
to the point about Godless being cinematic. I mean, you can definitely make that same case about Twin Peaks, considering that the Sight and Sound poll did name it the best movie of 2017, or the second best movie of 2017. So I think that argument goes for the both of them.
It's more like an art house cinema, whereas Godhouse is sweeping landscapes.
Classic.
No, I understand.
It's got that gone with it's got that big,
Yeah, I know.
I should have come up with a better word. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Tony,
Well, no.
we're going to let you speak. You tell us. You're the tiebreaker. We're all over the place. Riley and I are continuing our unholy alliance because I have the same two as he. So go for it. You tell us who's going to win.
I think Jesus Christ Superstar could win. I still am not even sure why it's in this category. If it's nominated for variety special, how is it in directing? It makes zero sense to me. But I agree with Riley. I think Godless is the one to look at because it is it is kind of the night manager thing where Scott Frank wrote every episode and directed every episode, and it is the most cinematic. It's certainly the most epic of all of these.
It's a period.
The thing I think that Twin Peaks runs into is that as many people that were passionate in their love for it, there are just as many people who were passionate in their WTF-ness of it, who just were like, huh? And David Lynch, David Lynch is a very, very important filmmaker, but he certainly has his detractors. He's not this necessarily universally acclaimed. I know a lot of cinephiles love him, but the last really big important film that he made, in my opinion at least, was Mulholland Drive, and he was in an Oscar category against Robert Altman and the ultimate winner, Ron Howard. So I just wonder if maybe
that makes me shudder.
And don't forget about Ridley Scott being in there too. That's
that's right. Yeah.
That was a tough night.
So I just think that maybe Twin Peaks might be just too divisive to win here. But I think Riley's exactly right. I think we'll know a lot more on the creative arts night. I just think this is going to be a place where if Versace is the front runner in so many different categories, this could be a place where they can reward Scott Frank, since this really was his baby.
And I think that just to say one thing about Jesus Christ Superstar, I think Black Mirror is very, very lucky that it's in the variety category and not in TV movie, because otherwise we would have a, I think Jesus Christ Superstar would win this year over Black Mirror. I think it would be they would be biting their nails waiting for the results, because I think they would have a very good chance of taking him down just based on nominations. But I'll let Tony go for it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Zach. Zach had something to say. I'm sorry. Sorry, I can't remember.
I was done.
Okay, you're done. So.
Oh, what the fuck was I going to say?
I'm sorry. I know. Does anyone want to make a case for Patrick Melrose, The Looming Tower of Paterno?
No, I don't.
No. And if we can keep on referring to the Night Manager. Remember, Susanna Bier had an Oscar win under her belt as the winner when she won, because she had won the Foreign Language Film Prize. The only one of these that has an Oscar under their belt is Barry Levinson, and Paterno did get into the Best TV Movie category. So this could be.
That's because there were no other options.
Let me finish. Let me finish, my friend. Let me finish. My inner rabbi just came out there. I'm sorry.
Al Pacino didn't get nominated. Come on.
Yeah, no, Al Pacino didn't get nominated. But I'm saying there is that possibility of a complete what the hell just happened win. I don't think it's going to happen. I still have Levinson in my 6 or 7 slot. But I do think that what you said about the whole thing of it being about Twin Peaks being very divisive, and it's weird I'm making these arguments and I'm not even predicting Twin Peaks to win this one at this moment. The director's branch, I think, is the branch where it's uniquely suited to win. because that's the thing. It reminds me of the Oscars that year that we were talking about at the Oscars, where David Lynch got it, or even '86 Blue Velvet. He gets it for directing nothing else. The film gets nothing else, and that shows that there is a specific affinity for him within that specific artistic branch. I did want to ask you about one thing, though, Tony. About you were talking about how Jesus Christ Superstar competing here and is not in the directing for a variety thing. Do you think that now normally we don't think that actors will hold this because this has never really come about acting, but do you think that there are some directors who might hold it against Jesus Christ Superstar for being in here and not in the variety category?
That's an interesting question. Could they hold it against it? They could. It's so weird because this is such a weird thing. Like I still can't get my mind around how the hell this even happened. Like what rule allowed this?
Rules. How do you know how this happened?
Well, I think anything goes at the Emmys these days.
Okay, so since anything goes, let's go ahead and give our top three, starting with Riley.
Top three, I've got Scott Frank, then who do I have? Then I've got Twin Peaks, and then Jesus Christ Superstar. And then I'll just add that I'm surprised that we don't have a second Oscar winner in this category if The Looming Tower was going to get in, because Alex Gibney did the premiere.
Okay. Charles?
I have Jesus Christ Superstar, Twin Peaks, and The Assassination of Gianni Versace, but I'm very tempted to put Godless in that third spot.
Okay. Tony?
I have Godless, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Versace.
And Zach?
David Lynch, and David Lynch.
Okay.
So
what's 4, 5, and 6 then?
David Lynch. No, 2, 3, and 4. Jesus Christ Superstar, Versace, Godless.
Why so low on Godless, Zach?
Yeah.
Because I think that there's not a lot of passion for that show, really. And
was there passion
like,
for The Night Manager?
I mean, I just feel like Scott Frank. Let me just say this. Right? So I'm not going to besmirch what Scott Frank did with this, but he's a 2-time Academy Award nominated writer. He's directed 2 movies before this, so yes, he's proven himself as a director, but I don't think people think about him as a director in the same way that they think about somebody like David Lynch or Barry Levinson.
Well, to that point, Alan Ball won an Emmy for 6 Feet Under for directing, and he never directed before the pilot. So
yeah,
I'm just saying, like Suzanne Bier is an Academy Award winning director. Jean-Marc Vallée is a director. Like,
okay.
I just feel like that's just my argument.
No, it's a fair argument to make. My 3 are Godless, Jesus Christ Superstar, and The Assassination of Gianni Versace. I think unless, Ryan Murphy can block out 6 to 8 months to direct one of these whole things by himself, he's probably not going to win. But as we can see, as the odds are, we're all over the place. But stick with Gold Derby, and we'll have some more Slugfest for you soon.
Wait, what year is this?